Opening up about abuse is like a mind trap. The moment I spoke out, I wanted my disclosure back. Social services got involved and told me how to live. Said I needed counsellors to deal with this. But no counsellor or therapist is the reason that I healed. I learnt to tiptoe and navigate in this fucked up minefield. I became skilled. Skilled to tell my story like I was detached. They'd ask me questions over and over again. Can you clarify this? Can you clarify that? I'd look at them like I'm telling you fact. Why don't you believe that? It wasn't a shock to me when my therapist asked me why I was so angry and aggressive. I could have banged him when he said this, but I didn't. Seeing my dad again for the very first time brought a tear to my eyes. I shook with fear inside. My cousin came near. That's your dad over there, why'd you look so scared? And just like that, the words rolled off my tongue. Could see on her face she didn't know what to say. She took me into a warm embrace. I asked if she believed what I said, and she replied that she knew I wouldn't lie. And I rested my head on her shoulder and I cried, and I cried. She told me I had to tell someone. I begged and begged her not to tell my mum. The next day when I opened my front door, I knew exactly what my aunt was there for. I threw on my clothes, I ran up the road and I found her at youth. I screamed at her, what the fuck did you do? Murray, I was hurt and confused. I didn't know what to do. I thought telling someone was the best thing for you. You haven't walked a day in my shoes, lived with the abuse I've been through. You're weak. You weren't thinking about me, you was just thinking about you. The minute they told my mum, everything changed. My relationship with my cousin has never been the same, and it's a shame. And half of my family believed that I lied. They couldn't see the anguish and the pain in my eyes. They'd see me and sigh. Their snide comments, I weren't on it. The tension inside, it caused a knot in my stomach. And the only release was to vomit and vomit. For days and weeks, I wanted to die. Believe me, I tried. Multiple failed attempts at suicide. It was a disclosure to them, not a disclosure to me. This part of my life is my testimony. My disclosure, it didn't set me free. Now all people see is my disclosure before they see me for me. The things people said to us growing up are the things we believe about ourselves now. My teacher said I was a clever kid. I don't believe him now, I don't think that I ever did. My nan would say, less of this and more of this. And she'd point from her lips to her ears and back again, insinuating I needed to speak less and listen more. Her death to me is still so raw. My mum told me I can be anything I want to be. I guess that brought out the entrepreneurial mentality. My brother taught me I got a soldier inside of me, not physically but mentally. He'd say things like, Chamberlain's a survivor's see. And that statement's never meant more to me than recently. Because my brother's fighting cancer and the thought of losing him's a fuckery. I've got a beast in my brain that stops me going insane. My ex used to say, you'd be more attractive if you was more tame. And that relationship taught me that if I don't love me, no man can. I spent a long time walking around in no man's land. Damn. And in my last poem I said, people don't really see me for me. Truth is, I'm so closed off, I only let them see the parts of me I want them to see. These days I don't really let people have access to me. I'm preserving my energy. I got a beast to feed, working on my inner enemies and insecurities. Someone told me, you have to treat yourself like you treat a toddler. You'd give them affirmations and words to make them prosper. You wouldn't let your voice get above a certain tone because you know the power of what words can do. You have to speak kindly to the inner child in you. Don't you know your subconscious mind works overtime? And if you say something enough, you start believing your own lies. So take time, rewind, be kind, because thoughts become things and words can sting. And this is something you need to start acknowledging.